All right, welcome to Whale Radar. This is the channel where we cut through all the noise and get right to the alpha you actually need to navigate these crypto markets.
Okay, let's just be real for a second. Are you looking at your portfolio right now and just watching it bleed out? I mean, day after day of just red candles. You're probably wondering when this is going to stop, right? It's a brutal feeling, trust me, I get it. And you are definitely not alone.
But look, panicking, that's not a strategy. Understanding what's going on, that is. So over the next 14 minutes, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you exactly why this is happening. We're going to look at what to expect next, and I'm even going to show you the exact trade I just opened to actually profit from this crash. All right, let's get into it.
All right, so let's get into the real reason for this crash because it's bigger than just crypto. The first thing you absolutely have to understand is that this whole dump, it isn't just a crypto problem. No, the real cause is, well, it's a lot bigger, and it actually starts over in the traditional markets.
So take a look at this. This is the S&P 500. It basically tracks the 500 biggest companies in the US. And you can see pretty clearly it's been cooling off. It's showing some real signs of weakness. Now, you might be asking, okay, who cares about the stock market? I'm here for crypto. Well, here's why you should care. When the big money, the institutions, when they get nervous, what do they sell first? They dump their riskiest assets. And right now, that means tech stocks and crypto. These two markets are super correlated right now.
Yeah, it's not a perfect one-to-one thing, but the old saying is absolutely true. If the stock market shows weakness, it's usually not good news for Bitcoin and crypto. Think of it like this. When the stock market sneezes, crypto gets a full-blown flu. So this weakness in the stock market, it basically set the stage. It created the fear. But honestly, that was just the appetizer.
And then came the institutional dump. Yep, the big players, the institutions that just got into the game with these new ETFs, they started selling. And I mean, they started dumping their bags in a huge way. I mean, look at this number, negative $817 million. That's how much money flowed out of the Bitcoin ETFs in just a single day. To put that into perspective for you, the BlackRock ETF, the big one, saw almost $318 million pulled out on its own. Now, what happens when institutions sell? Well, the ETF companies are forced to go and sell the actual Bitcoin on the open market to give them their cash back. This is what massive, heavy-handed selling pressure looks like, and it's a huge reason for this crash.
So, okay, that's the macro picture, right? The big money is selling. Now let's zoom in on the Bitcoin chart itself, because what's happening there is, well, it's like a dangerous echo from the past that every single one of you needs to see.
Okay, look closely at this, seriously. On the left, that's the market top from back in 2022. On the right, that's right now. This pattern, traders call it a fractal. And it's eerily similar. Back in 2022, check it out, we had a big bearish market, then months of this ugly, choppy, sideways action. Then price tried to break out, but it failed hard. And what happened right after that? A massive crash. Now look at today. We've had a big bearish market, months of choppy sideways action, and we just had a failed breakout. So the million-dollar question is, what comes next? You know, history doesn't repeat itself exactly, but man, it often rhymes. And this rhyme is screaming, be careful.
All right, so let's get tactical. These are the key levels for Bitcoin you need to be watching. Right now, as I'm recording, we are testing support around $81,000. Now, if we lose $80,000, and I mean lose it with conviction, with a strong close below it, that's the danger zone. That opens the door to our next major support area, which is down between 74 and 76,000. And below that? Well, there's a huge pool of liquidity sitting around 72K. Think of it like a giant magnet for price. It's an area with so many orders that price just gets pulled towards it. These are the lines in the sand.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're looking at the hourly charts, you see the RSI is oversold, and you're thinking, hey, we're due for a bounce. And you know what? You might be right. We could get a small bounce here, maybe some sideways chop for a couple of days to cool things off. But, and this is a big but, do not be fooled. A little oversold bounce does not change the big picture. We could easily just chop around, let the RSI reset, and then have all the room in the world to dump even lower. The macro trend over the next month is what really matters, and it's still looking incredibly heavy.
Okay, so that's the story with Bitcoin. But what about the altcoins? Because let's be honest, that's where the pain is usually felt the most, right?
Well, if we look at Bitcoin dominance, that's just a measure of Bitcoin's size compared to the whole crypto market, it's just moving sideways. And that tells us one simple thing. Altcoins have no strength of their own right now. They're just following Bitcoin's lead. So for the most part, wherever Bitcoin goes, the alts are going to follow. They're at a breaking point.
So, what does this all mean for the king of altcoins, Ethereum? Let's pull up the ETH chart because it is giving us some very specific signals that we've got to pay attention to.
Okay, so for Ethereum, that key support area we were all watching, between about 2750 and 2800, well, it's broken. It's gone. So now that level is probably going to act as resistance if we get any kind of bounce. The next stop on the way down, the next support to watch, is coming up at around 2630. And if that doesn't hold, well then the real danger zone is that big support block down between 2100 and 2250.
But there is something interesting developing here. On the 6-hour chart for ETH, we're seeing what's called a potential bullish divergence. Now for anyone who's new to this, it's pretty simple. It's when the price goes down and makes a new low, but an indicator, like the RSI, fails to make a new low. It actually makes a higher low. It basically suggests that the selling pressure is starting to run out of gas. But, and I need to be crystal clear here, this is only potential, it is not confirmed. If it does confirm, yeah, we could get a nice little relief bounce. But it does not mean the whole bearish trend is over, not by a long shot.
All right, now let's quickly look at Solana. It's sitting on support right now, between about 112 and 113 bucks. Below that, you're looking at 105, and then the big psychological level around $100. Now, what's interesting with Solana is that unlike ETH, it's actually just started to confirm a bullish divergence on its 6-hour chart. So that makes a short-term bounce, or at least some sideways price action, a little more likely for Solana in the very near future. But again, guys, this is a short-term signal in a very bearish macro environment.
So, okay, we've got this bearish outlook. What am I personally doing about it? Well, funny enough, I'm not actually in a Bitcoin trade right now, but I am in another trade, and I'm about to walk you through my exact setup, my strategy, and how I'm planning to profit from all this red. Okay, here it is. I've opened a short position on XRP. Now, let me be super clear. This is not financial advice. This is just me being 100% transparent with you, showing you how I'm navigating this market with my own capital so you can see the actual thought process behind a live trade. So here's the logic, step by step. The trigger for this trade was a potential break of a massive weekly support level at $1.80. This level is held for a long time. Now notice I said potential break. It's not fully confirmed yet, which is why I've only opened a small initial position. The real confirmation I'm waiting for is a weekly candle close below that 180 mark. If we get that, I'll add to the short position. On the flip side, what gets me out? If XRP forms a confirmed bullish divergence on the daily chart, that's my signal to close the trade. I'll probably get out with a small profit or right around break even. It's all about managing that risk.
And that really brings us to the key point here. For XRP, right now is literally a make or break moment. You've got this huge bearish weekly breakdown battling against a potential bullish divergence on the daily chart. It's like two heavyweight fighters in the ring. Whichever one of these signals wins out is probably going to decide where XRP goes for the next few weeks. And that is exactly why my position is small and why my plan for managing it is so specific.
Look, a lot of channels out there, they just give you old news, right? Lagging information. What I'm doing here at Whale Radar is different. I'm sharing my analysis and my actual trades with you in real time. So if you're finding this kind of breakdown valuable and you want to get these insights before they happen, then this next part is definitely for you.
The most important thing I want you to take away from this is that you do not have to be a victim in a bear market. You don't. You don't just have to sit there and watch your portfolio burn. There's money to be made when the market goes up, and there's money to be made when it goes down. You can absolutely profit from falling prices, but you have to have the right knowledge and the right strategy.
And that right there is why you should subscribe to Whale Radar. The analysis I'm giving you here is unique. It's my own work, not some recycled garbage you see everywhere else. I'm showing you my personal trade setups like this XRP short, and I'm explaining the why behind every single move. When you subscribe to the YouTube channel and you join our free Telegram, which you totally should, you get direct access to me and our whole community of serious traders. The entire goal is to teach you how to navigate and profit from any market condition, bull or bear. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, join the Telegram, the link's below, and let's do this together.
So, in the next video, we're going to track this XRP trade live. We'll see how it plays out together, and then we're going to start hunting for our next high probability setup. So the only question is,
Are you in? I'll see you in the next one.